Yes, thank you, Titans gods. We finally got our first casting information for Titans Season 3's Barbara Gordon. Not only that, along with the announcement, we got a little bit of information to do with the character, which is already seeding so many linking ideas to what we already know about the upcoming season. So today we're going to break it down. So let's get right into this. What is up, my fellow Titans? Welcome to a brand new Titans Season 3 video, and I'm very, very excited, ecstatic if you will, to make today's video, just because for the longest time, we haven't had any information on Season 3, like robust information. I know the pandemic kind of put things back, but still they could have done stuff like what we're talking about today, announcing casting details for characters such as Barbara Gordon quite a while ago. But not only have we got the new casting for Barbara, who I think looks absolutely spectacular for Barbara Gordon, and I assume she's gonna go with the red hair, but either way, we got some cool details. And as I said in the intro, in terms of what I already know, I feel like I can link quite a few things together as to how things may go in the season, with other characters such as Scarecrow coming and everything like that. And by the way, expect an update video as of when Scarecrow is cast, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that. As you can tell, I'm very excited. But first of all, without me dragging out this intro any further, let's read what Variety had to say, because this is their exclusive, and yeah, get into the details of what is happening next season. So Variety has learned exclusively that Savannah Welch has been cast in the role of the HBO Max show's upcoming third season. In Season 3, Gordon is the Gotham City Police Commissioner. She used to be Batgirl until she was shot and paralyzed by the Joker, leaving her wheelchair bound. She has a combative relationship with Bruce Wayne. Her life gets more complicated when Dick Grayson returns to Gotham, rekindling their old romance and starting a new crime-fighting partnership. So I'm sure a lot of you have already got your freaking Titans brain synapses firing and seeing where things can go. Stay tuned in this video for all of my ideas in terms of what I'm going to get into with that. But as you can tell, very accurate in this Titans continuity. At this point, things are like scaled back a bit more. For example, I've gone over this a billion times before, but usually in the comics, Nightwing is around 18 to 20, 22-ish. In this, Brenton Thwaites is like 30, 31. So you can see how things are kind of like pushed back a bit. Quite often in TV shows, they do that. And with this, we have a very comic accurate origin for Barbara in how the Joker in this universe has indeed shot her and left her wheelchair bound. Now, I think Savannah looks the part. I have no idea about her acting ability. I did a little bit of research into her before filming this video. She was a singer, I believe, and she was involved in a horrible, terrible, unfortunate accident where she lost her leg. Now, interestingly, when I first saw the casting, and if you look her up, she does actually use one of those really interesting mechanical legs, like a lot of people do to make do with their long-term disability. But I don't think that is going to come into the show, because as you can very much so see here, it says that she was left wheelchair bound. So I don't know if what they're going to do with the fact that she actually has lost her leg in real life, if she'll still have that replacement, if she's still going to use a wheelchair in the show, or are they going to incorporate what she uses to cope with that disability in the show? Because I think that would be pretty awesome to have a new take on Barbara Gordon with a mechanical leg, because why not? But I suppose they may keep it wheelchair bound just for the sake of comic book accuracy. But the other details to this I find super interesting. So actually it was reported, I believe, ages ago by Discussing Film that she would be police commissioner. If I remember correctly, unless they've changed this, I did reveal first that episode 1 is actually titled Barbara Gordon, but as I said, that's always subject to change. So of course, as it details here, she used to be Batgirl, but after being left wheelchair bound through being shot and paralyzed by the Joker, it seems that now she is in a combative relationship with Bruce Wayne. Now, before we move on to the whole rekindling romance with Dick Grayson, which I think is gonna trigger so many Corey stans, but I will get into that in a minute as well. Like, no disrespect to Corey stans at all, like, I've got something to say about that in a minute, so stay tuned to anyone who is actually really annoyed at this. She has a combative relationship with Bruce Wayne. So as for my ideas here, as we know, she has taken over from her father as police commissioner. So it seems that she is kind of in, it's not mega clarified here, but as we know traditionally in canon, she goes on to be Oracle, right? But in this, it doesn't mean that she isn't Oracle or hasn't been Oracle. She may have reached a point, like I've talked about in my previous Titan speculation videos, where it's like a hybrid of two of them. Maybe she's left behind Oracle and she's gone full-time commissioner. But obviously in this now, as it states in these final words of the teaser, starting a new crime-fighting partnership, I think there's a good chance she could still be Oracle, but I think she may have kind of left not only Batgirl behind, but also kind of Oracle behind when she came into commissioner. And at this point, maybe Jim is retired, maybe her father passed away. I'm pretty sure the show hasn't addressed that, like, properly. You can bet they will in the 3rd season. I think you have to assume they'll say, oh, where's Jim these days? Or is he dead? Or I remember when your father died, or something like that. But I digress. Going back onto the Bruce Wayne combative relationship with Barbara, I think maybe, I don't necessarily think this has anything to do with the Joker situation and how she got paralyzed. I think it's more going to be a situation of where maybe, and this is just from the top of my head, that the fact that she's police commissioner now, what do we know about Batman? He kind of likes to liaise with certain commissioners in Gotham about the criminal activity, right? Now, one of his former, well, Bat family members, Batgirl turned Oracle turned commissioner, is now going to be the one to liaise with about stuff like that. So maybe there's a bit of tension between them. Maybe Barbara, just like Dick Grayson, because it's already been established in this universe that Dick, even though he had problems with Batman and they reconciled at the beginning of season 2, he didn't always agree with Bruce's methods. Like, I think that has been made crystal clear. So maybe Barbara kind of felt a similar way, even though they all subscribed to Batman. They all accepted him as a tutor growing up and whatever. I can imagine they're going to paint Ian Glenn's Batman to be... well, it's not exactly original. It's been done before. Like, the way he sometimes deals with things, she might not agree with, and now she's a commissioner. Well, that could be a bit of a problem for their relationship, because if you have Batman going about something a certain way and your responsibility is the freaking police commissioner, you may have a conflict of ideas sometimes. And knowing Batman, he might be fairly stubborn about his approach. And not only that, view Barbara as, you know, she was a pupil of his. You don't get to tell me what to do, Barbara. That kind of thing. I'm not saying Batman's going to be such a dick, so to speak, like that. But the fact that there's a combative relationship between Bruce and her, and the fact that she's got this new role now as police commissioner, I think the most automatic thing to assume is that it's the way things are handled in terms of conducting criminal investigation. Another thing is, I can imagine Dick Grayson and Barbara kind of confiding in each other about their issues with Bruce next season. Even though Dick Grayson's reconciled, you can see where I'm going with this. So, now for the more controversial bit in the fandom. I personally like Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. Fair enough if you don't. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's something we must always remember. But here, her life gets more complicated when Dick Grayson, Brenton Thwaites, returns to Gotham. Now, here's the key words. Rekindling their old romance. So as we know, Titans Season 3 will be going to Gotham. This is how, well, as it says here, her life gets more complicated when he returns. Now, rekindling their romance, there's no other way to read that. Like, well, not only that, old romance. They've been a thing before. They were in a relationship. I'm guessing the trauma and the stress that surrounded the time of where she was shot by the Joker may have damaged their relationship. On top of that, come on, it's not the most easy, happy family life being a member of the Bat family. Dick Grayson certainly had a lot of pent-up anger in the past. You can blame it or attribute why it's an old romance for many different reasons. I'm guessing it's something to do with the trauma of the past. But either way, rekindling that old romance, quite literally, you can take that at face value. That means they are going to be kind of romantic to a degree this season. I don't necessarily think it translates to they're getting into a deep relationship. What I think rekindling that old romance could mean, at the very lightest level, is that they kind of see each other again. It's been some time now. Time is a healer after all, as they say, and then I think that brings up some feelings. Now, they will probably pursue that to an extent, but as I said, I don't think, just to people who may really not like this, I don't think you should automatically equals that out to, oh, Dick and Barbara are in a full-time, long-term committed relationship. It just means it's been a while, feelings get stirred up after not seeing each other for so long. They were obviously very important to each other in the past. They obviously had an old, quote, quote-unquote old romance here. So kind of undoubtedly when they're both single, it kind of might, especially when they're attracted to each other, bring up some old feelings. So I think that's what that will mean. But you have the other side of the fandom here. I'm not even really commenting about the fact that Dick and Barbara here may very well, and it says, rekindle their old romance. I'm not even on about that because a lot of Corey fans really don't like that. They really don't. The thing I want to address is they don't like Barbara Gordon being in this season, period. Now, I understand if you just are worried about the character development. Titans has too many characters who are underdeveloped enough. People are saying, and I'm paraphrasing these cliched critiques, if you will, of the show, which I don't necessarily disagree with, by the way. So adding another character might... I get it if you come from that angle, but they don't want Barbara to come into the show because it's apparently taking away from Corey and this is her season. Now, they've made it very clear that this is still her season. Like, this is still going to be very heavily Corey focused. So I just don't think people need to go ham with just the fact that another woman is entering the show. I don't think that steals her thunder. I understand how you really want Corey to be highlighted. So do I. And apparently we're still getting that. So I just don't think we should jump to conclusions just because Barbara has been cast in the show and she's going to have a presence in Gotham because they're in Gotham now. And obviously Dick Grayson as Nightwing is going to liaise with the Commissioner. And this kind of comes into the long-term theory of what I've spoke about before, like Batman might not be around so much in Gotham, and the reason why we might be in Gotham in the first place is because of Jason Todd's death, potentially. Maybe Bruce takes a sabbatical from being Batman, not a permanent one, but just, you know, like, you handle Gotham for the time being. It needs your help more than San Francisco if I'm hanging up my cape. This is just a theory. And then, naturally, like, I don't have an issue with Barbara being in this. Now, to my knowledge, I can't guarantee this. It doesn't state whether she's recurring, a series regular, or if whatever. Either way, the fact that it's set in Gotham, the fact that Nightwing may be, like, and the Titans, that is, quite the only heroic defense Gotham has in Season 3, it makes sense as to why he would, you know, be speaking to the Commissioner. But it makes it even more interesting because, oh, it's Barbara Gordon, and oh, they used to be together. So, you know, I get that. I do. I just think, and as I said, just to disclaim this, don't get triggered, Corey stans. I'm just saying, it doesn't mean we're not going to get awesome Corey stuff just because another lady is coming in the show and it happens to be Barbara. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, just chill until we see it. And if she is completely abandoned, then fair enough. You know, get your pitchforks, but we don't know that yet. So that's what I'm trying to say. Hold your horses a little bit. Plus, personally, I'm really excited for Barbara to come to the show. I'm always down, especially with how on board I am with the vibe and vision that Titans has, to see a Barbara vision version of Titans. Titans is Barbara. What am I saying right now? I can imagine, obviously, we've got the Red Hood stuff. Like, we can't forget about that, of course, but she's going to need Dick Grayson and the Titans' help with Scarecrow. Now, we still don't know if we're getting a full-out Scarecrow or if it's more just Jonathan Crane. Like, we really don't know what they're going to do. But, as I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get every update. As for the casting to Scarecrow as well, because apparently he is playing quite the part in the season, as we've learned from the showrunner himself. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I have been rambling for quite a while. I just wanted to get all of my thoughts on everything and what this could mean for Bruce, what this could mean for Barbara and Dick Grayson. I think there is also, by the way, whilst I mention it, a chance of flashbacks similar to that of what we saw with a younger Donna Troy and a younger Dick Grayson. And yeah, I would love to know what your thoughts are with this tiny bit of wall of text news that we got along with the casting. But I feel like it springboarded us into the next puzzle piece we needed to link storylines, connections, and things like that together. What do you think of the actress? As I said, I don't know too much about her, but in terms of looks, hey, she looks like Barbara to me. I can totally imagine that. If you did like the video, I'd really appreciate a like. I would encourage you to follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there, and you know, you can get more kind of as of when it happens, feedback and news from me on my Twitter page. I have a Patreon, I have a Discord server. Links are in a top pinned comment. Don't forget that. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. And I'll see you Titans in the next video. Goodbye.